Hi again, welcome back to another video. I should say that trophy, if you saw the clip at the start, it's not actually the right one, but I'll come on to that at the end. So here we are, we're back again. It's round 3 now of the 2022 Trackday Championship. And what a round it was for us in the PRO-AM Racing Renault Clio. We made the quite long drive up to Anglesey, having never been there before. Did testing the day before, which I think paid dividends, and then had the race all around the Queen's Jubilee bank holidays. After testing, it felt like we had some pace, but the temperatures were getting really high. We had quite high track temps on test day, and to be honest, towards the end of the day, with the tyres that we have to run in the championship, we weren't really getting representative lap times as they were just turning to jelly. We went out in qualifying. We went quicker than we had in the test, which we were expecting because it was a little bit cooler and we had new tyres. We ended up qualifying 3rd in class, but I have to say it was really tight in qualifying. I think all the Class C cars at the top there were within a few tenths of each other, so we knew going into the race it was going to be quite a battle ahead of us. I was starting the race, Jack was in 2nd, and my plan really was just to try and be consistent, try and get a good start, consistently lap where we knew we had enough pace to finish on the podium and go from there really. Obviously with all best laid plans, that completely changed by the end of lap 1. We found ourselves leading the class when we crossed the line for the end of the first lap. It was then a case of just keep banging in the lap times, keep pulling a gap from 2nd place in class behind us. We got a bit fortunate with the timing of a safety car, allowed us to do our driver swap under the safety car. So our 2-minute minimum pit stop time obviously cost us less racing time because everyone was going that much slower. A lot of other people used the safety car well as well. And then Jack just needed to keep up consistent laps again and bring the car home. And we ended up finishing the race 2nd overall, which is a huge points haul for us in the championship, and winning our Class C. Now I didn't take much video footage from the circuit this weekend, just several things kind of got in the way and I didn't do a very good job of the vlogging type stuff. So we're going to go straight into the race. I'm starting the race and I'll do my usual voiceover work as normal. So without further ado, let's go to the grid at Anglesey. So here we go then, waiting for the lights and we're away. I'm still trying to get my starts down, but not too bad. Class B car in front, we're able to get alongside, but I get a bit of squeeze at the apex, actually Class A in front I should say. And not too bad for a start really. I can see Abbott now in my right hand wing mirror. He's putting us under a bit of pressure, so I go down the inside of that faster car into turn 2, check my mirrors on the exit, and I'm quite happy that we've got ourselves in a decent position. Class C, same as us in front, Class C, same as us behind. This is a really fast corner church. I'm happy I'm carrying a lot of speed on the first lap through there, and I'm closed right up on the BMW in front. Immediately in front of that car is another Clio, and that is currently leading our class, so just looking to see what I can do. And then it all goes a bit wrong in front. BMW locks up in front and goes straight on, catches one of the other cars, and it also blocks the class leader, so I'm able to just brake a little bit more, get down the inside and gain a couple of places there. Looking in my mirrors now, I can see the silver and blue Honda behind. I know that's the same class as us, and in front there are 2 cars that are actually the class above, so very happy now. I know that I'm leading our class and I know I'm 3rd overall, so very happy with that for a first lap. I'm fully expecting to see safety card boards at any point though, given the impact there. And there they are as we cross the line. As you can tell, quite happy to have got through that cleanly and gained a few places on that first lap. Yeah. So now it's just keeping the gap to the car in front, and ends up being an awful lot of this, with a bit more of this. Keeping those heats in the front tyres until we're ready to go again. Here we go. I must admit, the 2 cars in front went slightly earlier than I was expecting, and it meant that we had a little bit of a gap, but I think it also caught out the car behind, so kind of all across the line, sort of fairly even gaps between us. And we're back into the first green flag lap. This is a great corner at Anglesey. You can't really tell from the video, but it's actually really cambered into the apex, which means you can carry a lot of speed around there. And then the next right-hander, Church, as I said on lap 1, it's a seriously quick corner, and your front-wheel drive car is just about balancing the throttle, trying to get on it as soon as you can without understeering out wide. Up and into the heaviest braking point on the circuit. I'm at the very top end of 4th gear. And then the really tight left-hander where it went wrong for a few people on lap 1. Just keeping an eye in the mirrors though, I'm happy that the Honda behind's not closing up on us. And I know that I've got lap times out-qualified them, so I know I've got lap time in hand. Just don't want to completely destroy the tyres, which was in the back of my mind. And poor Scott from Pro-AM on the pit wall probably got me asking him a lot if I was pushing too hard. But it was from this point onwards where my confidence really seemed to grow in the car. It was going really well. Scott was telling me that I was consistently quicker than those cars behind me. Set the fastest lap in a couple of laps time, and every time I crossed the line, Scott was able to update me that I was, a second quicker, a 7/10 quicker, or a half a second quicker. And it meant that I could relax into a little bit of a groove where I didn't feel like I was overdriving the car, and the lap time was still coming. It's kind of the ideal world really for racing a car where you feel like you're pushing on but you're not taking any risks, and the lap time's still coming to the car, so I was very happy. So I think what we'll do is we'll fast forward, we'll run through my personal fastest lap, which was the fastest lap in our class as well. And I'll try my best to talk us through a lap, something I've not done before on this. But here we go then, into T1. It's just very light on the brakes, just gets the nose in, and then I'm just waiting patiently to try and get back onto full throttle as soon as I can. Driving out now towards turn 2, which as I said has got a really nice camber. It's a really late apex, which I actually miss a little bit there. Just means you can get on power nice and early, and then in this car we're taking an early 4th gear just so everything's settled, lift off into church to get some weight on the fronts, try and find that apex, and then again on power as early as you can. Curbs are quite aggressive here, so you don't really want to be all over them if you can help it. Fastest part of the circuit now, and you'll see I've just tapped with the left foot just to make sure we're suffering a little bit of pad knockoff times in this car. Down into second for a painfully tight left-hander. We just need to be really patient, try and keep the car left, back across to the right apex, and again, and the front wheel drive, I'm just trying to open the steering and get on power as soon as I can. This is quite a tricky right-hander, it's uphill, and I kind of treat it like 2 corners. I hit that first apex, and again, trying to get the steering open, keeping the car across to the right for the corkscrew, which again, you can't see quite how downhill it is, but it really is steep. Keep it left at that entry road off to the left, turning right for the second apex, and again looking for that road on the right for our turn-in point to the left. A little bit of apex curb, and run it out across. And as I said, very happy with my laps. Scott was able to tell me that I was putting in what I needed and started building a gap. Then it was time to come in for the pit stop. There was a safety car had just been thrown, and we knew this was a great opportunity to stop, so I come in. It's quite a tight pit entry here. I knew we had plenty of time at this pit lane for our mandatory 2 minutes. You can see I press the timer, start when I'm across the line. I'm letting the guys know that I can see them and that I'm happy I've pressed the timer at the right point, so we're not going to get any penalties for too short a pit stop. Here we go. I know I'd been able to build a decent gap before the safety car came out. I'd set the 3 fastest laps in our class and was able to hand over to Jack, who was straight out, still with the safety car running. He was able to catch up to the safety car train. Now obviously, as he was behind the safety car, that meant he had to do a bit of this. And a bit more of that. And then finally we're back for a green flag lap with Jack. You can see in the mirror now he's got actually 2nd place overall after the safety cars and the stops had all shaken up. We'd managed to gain 1 place, but we'd already decided that we weren't going to try and battle with that car. It's a class ahead, there's a lot of laps left, and really what we needed here was a solid result for the championship. Quite happy to not give him a free entry, but not try and battle with him. Let him through, and then Jack just try and hang on. Kind of in vain, but keeps us dragging ourselves up the grid. So now we're 2nd overall, leading our class. it's just about being safe and consistent for Jack now. We've got a nice margin behind, so it's all about bringing the car home, which can be a lot harder than it sounds. You have to be really on guard to not let your concentration drop, and also filter your way through the back markers just as he's doing there. It was a great drive from Jack. I think we can both be really pleased with our consistency, and that's ultimately what led to us finishing where we did. Here we go then, the last lap of the race. Jack's in control, as you can see, big gap in front, big gap behind. Now he's just hitting the brake markers and bringing the car home. I know this video is a bit shorter than some of my others for a 45-minute race, but as you can see, it wasn't the most thrilling for us from a driving point of view, which meant that we had a really strong and good result. But I didn't think people would want to watch endless laps of us kind of lapping on our own. Once we'd had the first lap battle, we were able to pull a gap and then maintain that gap. So I'm very happy. It's a great result, but maybe not the most thrilling video, hence why it's a little bit shorter this time. Just one more trip through the corkscrew to go. Here we go then, an awesome corner that the video really doesn't do justice to. Looking for the checkered flag, tap on the steering wheel, raise fist. Fantastic result for Jack and myself and Pro-AM Racing. I think we can all be very proud and very pleased. Well, there we go then. Like I said, a shorter one this week, but I'm absolutely buzzing. What a result. We won our class and we finished second overall in the championship. The points in the championship are done by overall finish position, not class finish position. So it's given us a massive boost. I think, although the official results haven't been released yet, that's moved us to second in the championship, just behind Dan Abbott in the silver and blue Honda that you saw in the mirrors a couple of times in that race. Awesome result. Onwards to Snetterton. Now I should say that there were a couple of issues, a couple of people in the stewards at the end of that race, which just delayed the official results being published. We have seen the official results. We did definitely finish where we thought we'd finished, but it meant that the podium ceremony or anything like that was delayed, so we didn't get our trophies while we were at Anglesey, because a lot of people, including us, had a long journey back home from there, so people just wanted to get away. They're going to bring the trophies along to Snetterton, so hopefully we'll get our Anglesey podium at Snetterton, and you never know, maybe we'll even get a Snetterton podium while we're there as well. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit the like button, consider subscribing if you're not already. But other than that, I shall say thanks very much for watching.